Of course, I don't mean like. Welcome, Ghost Sports, to the final hour of the Legend of Ghost Mountain Kickstarter. You guys have shown up in force today. Pushed us up, I think, over 10,000 in the last few hours. So we are. It's going great. I think it's over 900 backers and over 90K. So thank you. It's a wonderful, successful campaign. So congratulations, Daryl.
Well, thanks for all of us, right? It's over 90,000.
Over 90K. So good. Well, thank you for joining us on this Friday. We normally end things off on a Thursday. We figured we'd give you guys one more paycheck to jump on the Legend of Ghost Mountain bandwagon. It looked like it worked. So we are super pleased to see this project come to fruition. And all the goods, lots and lots of goodies got opened up. The Silk-like maps got opened up. And
I just can't wait till we get to send it out. Like, I know we've got to wait for the Kickstarter stuff to process or whatever. But people have been waiting for this for a long time, including I just cannot wait to get what we've done out to people.
That's the thing, right? I mean, it's not about the stretch goals aren't really about making more money. They're about putting the things in the box that we want because we want to play with them. Like that's something people probably don't understand. I want those coins. We're 10K away. I don't know if we're going to get them in an hour, but
Well, the good thing is the coins are designed with the little Pinnacle logo as the cutout, and we just might have some other near future projects that those would fit in. If they don't fit in this one, we can come back to the well and hopefully unlock those at a future date. So you can add them to your campaign then. And,
but we did get the cloth map, right? Ever since Ultima 4, I want all my maps to be cloth.
Yeah. Yes.
No, it's that was my favorite. I think that's a staff pick on coolest stretch goal is getting these silk-like maps. We've been bugging Simon, Simon, we want production samples. You need to show this off, and it's a little hard with the new year and our producers getting that to us. So
my favorite was I've got one, but somebody else's stuff is printed on it, so we can't really show it.
We should try to get him on the stream just to show it. It's okay if it's somebody else's. Simon, if you're out there, pop in.
Simon, if you hear us. So guys, so not only is this a celebration, so we'll go through the campaign page. It's got 1 hour left, folks. So now is the time to upgrade. If you haven't yet, grab all the campaign exclusive pricing, the dragon miniature, which is super. I still have that. We had a really cool little dragon thing that we showed off.
Let's see. 3D animation.
Yeah, there we go. So if you haven't picked this up yet, so if you're new to us, I have to loop and repeat, or else it only goes once. There we go. So if you're brand new to us, which is, come on, you should know who we are right now. But if you are new and you are unsure if you want to grab in the whole box yet, you can get the campaign exclusive miniature for just $25 as its own pledge level. But we really hope that you back at the box set, because that's where all the goodies are included with the box set level, including that cloth silk-like map. But this is something we haven't done before. So what was on your mind, Shane, on hey, we haven't put a mini in a box? We've done computer miniatures in partnership before, but in recent memory, we haven't offered a big mini with a campaign. So what was the thinking there? How did we take that leap?
Well, we wanted to do something really special, and we're working on miniatures for our upcoming Doomguard board game that we're working on as a different company. So we're getting more experienced and doing better than we've done with previous STL minis. I was involved with a couple of projects people may or may not know about. So it's on our radar. It's something we're working on, and we thought, man, getting that dragon that we fought when we were playtesting this as a miniature would be awesome. So there's a pawn for it as well, and the pawn is fantastic. But man, there's nothing beats putting that big dragon on the table, right? So we wanted it, and there it is.
So that is true. So folks who are interested in our future efforts, putting more little plastic things on your tables, exactly 1 week from today. So on Friday the 27th, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, Mike Barbeau will be on our stream on twitch.tv/pegging to talk about Doomguard. And so we will show off some early production samples of that. And if you guys are heading to any of the big conventions this year, hopefully Mike and or Simon will be there demoing. And so we're excited to get. And you guys already got if you want a real sneak peek of Doomguard, go check out the Sci-Fi Companion, the Supers Companion, the Superpowers Companion is where we've got adventures written by Rittenhouse crew that feature the Doomguard characters. So you can go see a little bit about what their story is already. And it's a cool crossover between the RPG side and the board game side. So
yeah, and for those of you that have played Necessary Evil, like you can tell from the Superpowers Companion, like this is the same universe. You know, we're all comic nerds. Like we know how crossovers work and how this all like feeds into its, you know, ever expanding awesomeness. So yes, the Doom Guard might meet villains from Necessary Evil sooner than you think.
Pardon my typing. I am pushing Simon, who's had all of our production, to come in and show us the map.
It's probably
it's someone else's, but it's a similar material to what we'll be getting. I haven't seen it either, so I want to see it.
This might prove or disprove whether Simon's a demon or not. You know, we say his name a certain number of times and he's forced to appear.
Like manservant Hecubus.
If you say his name 3 times into a Union Jack, I think he magically appears.
Welshman. Yeah. No one can pronounce
Simon is probably more like a 49ers jersey or something.
Sorry about your team, Simon. They were good this year, just not good enough.
They were. And Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the 49ers, went to Chandler High School right here in my hometown. My son went to school a couple of grades before him. So pretty cool.
Nice. All the connections. Well, have you ever been to the Super Bowl, Shane? They're holding it out in your neck of the woods these days.
No, you know, we thought about it. The tickets for the nosebleed section weren't too bad. You know, for a couple of times in a lifetime sort of event, but they weren't my teams. If they'd been one of my teams, I probably would have tried to go.
Nice. Never been, but the good thing about the home teams is like when they come back home, they do the parades and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
there was a good stretch there where Denver was really good. We had like the Super Bowl and the Stanley Cup at like the same time, so it was like all the trophies. And then one of our guys dented both. Like it was like, anyways. We're Hicks out here in Colorado too. So we also have Brian. Brian, welcome to the stream, sir.
Hello.
You're here to give us a little peek. We're going to run into any questions you guys have for Legend of Ghost Mountains. If any final questions, now's the time to ask. Get them in chat. We'll put them up and we will answer them. But you're here to kind of promo one of our next big campaigns. And Shane's got a story there too. Shane went squatch hunting, which is awesome. So, what's the next big thing coming down the line for Deadlands, Mr. Brian?
Well, we've been working on getting the next area gazetteer up and running. It's Abominable Northwest, and it is now completely finished. Got some art rolling in, and it's looking pretty cool.
So what's so abominable about it?
Oh, well, gosh. First of all, every state is really, we dive into all 3 of the states / territories to a much deeper level. And we have lots of creepy cryptids running around this neck of the woods. Sasquatch is, of course, the most famous one, but there are a bunch of others. And many of them make an appearance in this book.
It's also got
I got some bad news for you Sasquatch fans. They have a rough time in Night of the Wendigo. It's a bad time to be a Squatch.
Oh, yeah.
All I know is that area's got the greatest evil known to man, which is snow.
Looking like a true Arizonan, buddy.
Right?
2 hours north of us, you can ski in Arizona. So, which I have. And I went to Seattle, as many of you may have seen on Facebook recently, the King County area, from Seattle out to Mount Rainier, and did a whole bunch of research for your bases of operations during the campaign in Night of the Wendigo, which is much like Matthew Cutter's horror at Headstone Hill. So I went to great pains to make sure that the chief of police of Seattle in 1884 is the real guy. And the settlers in Enumclaw, Washington, are the real people who were there. That's really a thing we love to do with Deadlands. We like to take the real history and then build off of it. There's plenty of fictional characters in there, of course, and our own story. But we love building on that foundation of real life, and that just it kind of grounds it and gives those zombies a little more purpose. Well, we got Simon on, so. Wait, maybe we need to look into the Union Jack and say his name 3 times. He'll disappear. But it looks like he's here, so let's see it.
What?
Let's see we understand you have a sample of a map that's somebody else's.
I do. It's not our game, but a different game. But it's a super soft silk kind of material, and then it'll take color and printing really nicely.
Fantastic!
Oh, wow!
It will
Wow,
be,
yeah, that's very nice, rich color.
yeah. So
Now,
they're still seeing if they can print both sides. If not, it'll be one side. But
okay,
either way, it looks really good.
let's see how soft it is. Rub it on your beard and see if it destroys it.
And then watch my hair stand on end.
We're saving that for the OnlyFans. Come on.
Oh, this just became a very different kind of podcast. Awesome. Thank you, Simon.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you, buddy. Now get back to work because there's so much stuff we have coming in the pipeline. While you're here, so the next few months are going to be really, really good for us with products coming in, right? Like it's like every month we got a whole big Kickstarter coming in for folks. Do you want to drop any timelines on when folks can see stuff, or is
I really don't.
Okay.
I'm so wary. We had that hold up where the card stock was switched, and so now that we've sourced new card stock, everything is starting to flow again. But there's been a little lull, so everything's coming. It's just taking a little bit longer than we hoped.
Yeah. It's like the fact that we put cards in everything. It's like every project, and like yes, every project coming in is going to have at least a month delay. But oh look, Savage Clan, is that the Illimat board? I actually ran that the last time. Speaking of Gen Con, the last time at Gen Con, I ran Illimat for folks. It was fun. It wasn't Savage Worlds, but so yeah, the Kickstarter. So I think what do you know what the first one coming in is though? Can you at least tell us what the next one coming off the
Hell on the High Plains is first.
Oh, so good. So yeah, so if you guys are interested in Abominable Northwest, it is in the exact same vein as Hell on High Plains. We take a bunch of states. Hell on High Plains is kind of the Great Plains all the way up to Colorado, and which you think is a mountain city, but Denver is called Queen of the Plains of all things. And this one goes to the Northwest, where Brian is the local expert, and I'm surprised they even let you in there, Shane. Did your skin soften? And you're such a desert creature going out where they have humidity.
Oh, it must have seemed so
feel the
sticky.
air.
Yeah.
Not this time of year. I mean, that's not true. It was wet down in the lowlands. Up on the mountain, it was pretty dry. And I went up to Crystal Mountain, which is a ski resort there, and I went and skied for a day. But I needed to get up in the mountains because a lot of the adventure takes place in the mountains, and I wanted to get some reference shots for our artist so it would look right, the trees would look right, etc. We go the extra mile for you fans. I made myself go to a ski resort just for you.
So hard.
I even ate salmon.
What? If you guys don't know, Shane is almost insufferable in his hatred of seafood. So eating, wow! Congratulations, sir. Well, finally some vitamin B in your diet. That's good.
I take vitamins.
Or vitamins. Vitamins is the Welsh person up there would call them.
We don't really have fish here in Arizona, so it's just not a thing we do.
That's true.
We do technically, but.
That's the problem with like sushi in Colorado is you draw a line to the nearest ocean and it's 1,000 miles away. I'm sorry, there's nothing fresh about sushi. Maybe you can get some if you're really good yourself, you can go up and get some trout. But we'd be remiss if we didn't mention on Shane's trip, you did actually do a really kind of cool travel log of your hunt for the Sasquatch. So if you go to our news from I think about 2 weeks ago. There's a link to our website, and we've got all the links to Shane's posts on social media where he tracks down. It's very good writing, sir. I was very impressed. So if you want to
do it for a living,
yeah, it's like you're a writer or something.
Someone should.
It was all ChatGPT.
I hope you took a whole bunch of good reference pictures for some handouts too.
I did. In fact,
the scene setters are good stuff. Like I just got Holler, and there's these awesome.
Oh yeah,
I got the bookmarks here.
Show those on camera, Chris. These are scene setters, are something that I came up with back in '96, and I wanted to do with the very first Book of Deadlands. And at the time, the net wasn't what it is today. But what we wanted to do was ask people all over the country to take pictures of particularly cool places out west, particularly cool like rock formations, trees, things like the Devil's Post piles, things like that, and send them to us. And then we would give them a credit, and we'd get an artist to redo them, in actual art. Yeah. So, the idea would be, okay, you've come to a box canyon. Well, what's a box canyon? It's this, right?
Yeah.
And you just kind of set it out, and it helps people understand, where you're. It's like an establishing shot in a movie almost.
Yeah, they're nice and big. They're as big as like the oversized action deck. Is it the same size, Simon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can actually take mine out of the plastic right now and do an actual little unboxing. I don't want to.
Yeah, and the Holler ones are beautiful because Francesco did them, and he did all the art for Holler. He's an Image comic book artist. He's just been fantastic to work with, and his art was incredible. You match up a guy like that's art with someone like Tim Early's writing, and Holler is an amazing product.
Yeah.
I just the reviews coming back from people who finally got their hands on it have been so great. It's really nice seeing you guys because they finally put the real book on the table. So congratulations on that too. That's freshly delivered for a lot of folks. Let's see if we can get back.
Yeah.
Let's see this one. There we go. So here's the Tent City Piney Dirge. And on the back of that one is the Bad Mountain Tunnel, which is one of our first play tests. If you guys want to go check our YouTube.
I'm pretty sure we blew that up. I don't think that's there anymore.
I'm sure everyone blows that up. Yeah.
Right.
The Requisition Yard, the Gulfside Dirt Track.
So this is something we think we'll continue doing with our settings. We're really fond of it. We really like it.
I think it's just it's just more art, and who can say no to more art? I think that's one of the nice things about kind of our production schedule recently. It's just like we're putting a lot of art in books. I think at the end of the year, Shane sat down and saw how many artists we'd actually hired over the last 2 years, and oh my God, it's a very, very long list. So we are proud to still be able to keep some awesome artists employed and to try some new styles. And this is a very cool style with Prenzy. And the other great thing too is folks kind of wonder about Kickstarters. Like, hey, are you guys making the same book whether you do Kickstarters or not? And I think for all of our books, it's like, yes, we want to play these, we are going to publish them, but what the actual final product turns out to be really is dependent on Kickstarter and unlocking stretch goals and those kind of things. And these wouldn't have happened without the Kickstarter. And this is all art that came in with Kickstarter funds, and that's why it's new and all that good stuff. So it really does make a difference.
Yeah, and they are very purposefully done, right? Like, here is the point where this does make good business sense to do. And there's so much we want to do. It's just a matter of can we, And if we can't, it's like, all right, we'll pocket that and we'll find a way to do it something later, right? It's never
exactly.
gone.
I mean, it's like Lost Colony, right? We're going to do more stuff with the next source book that comes out that wasn't done with the original box set because we hadn't figured that out back then. That was one of our first Suede products.
I got samples of some heat-sensitive dice coming in soon as well.
Ooh.
Wait, the mood dice wasn't just a joke?
Yeah, should have some samples next week.
Wow.
Wait. How can I not get a lunch lady for Pine Bluff Middle School, but somehow mood dice as an idea that's going to happen?
Do you know why you can't get it, Chris? Because you want it too much.
I know,
right?
It's true. I'm gonna have to write an adventure and go full box because we don't do pawns for adventures. So
you could write an adventure for Pine Box Middle School called Lunch Lady Land.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get Adam Sandler to sing the song again.
I wonder
still
what
not
he
get a
for
pawn.
these days. Yeah.
It still won't get a pawn.
The secret is order the character cutout for the adventure. When we got those, backs are relatively easy. So later on, when we start adding pawns for expansions, that's how you sneak it in.
That's true. Okay, that's good.
I bet our artists want to slap you right now. Backs are relatively easy.
Well, I didn't say they were easy.
You said relatively. Tell the poor artist who had to do the maze dragon for the dead.
I mean, true. Right? Well, I mean, some of the ones on the backs on Ghost Mountain where it's like, oh man, there's more going on here than there is on the front. Sorry.
So I'd be remiss without reminding people we do have the Kickstarter is live for another 35 minutes. There is a link. Jody just put a link in the chat. I'll put another one in the chat so you guys can get there if you haven't backed yet. But yeah, we are over 900 backers and over 90K. And 91K. There we go. So someone did just back. Thank you. Please don't wait to the end again. It makes us sad. It is nice to see a very robust close on this one. But we have a good question that came in about how long is the Legend of Ghost Mountain adventure? So we are both adventures in the book as well as a plot point campaign. So start with the plot point campaign.
Yes, the plot point campaign is 10 chapters, right? Each chapter is usually good for one night of gameplay, but could go longer, especially if you draw things like if you're putting everything in, right? Now, there's another like dozen Savage Tales, and each of those are a night of gameplay that you can intersperse throughout. Also, there's travel between the chapters and sometimes during them, and there's random encounters that you can use or that'll come up during those, which also extends things. So like if you're trying to be brutal and really like, all right, we're staying on the path, we're getting through this, probably 10 sessions is the minimum that you could do. If you're taking your time, if you're exploring, if you're letting it play out, 24 to 30.
And that's not counting adventure generators, because there's an adventure generator in there too.
Haunts.
So I mean, you could play forever, right?
Yeah.
When we did the play test, I think it was about 10 or a dozen sessions, something like that. And
right, because we're play testing, we're going for the throat. Yeah.
Right. We tend to do the main line because we have so many to test, and it was a blast. So many memorable moments. It's not fun to swim in a lake full of zombies.
Especially when you have the can't swim hindrance.
Yep.
Well, you can just walk on their heads. Come on now. It's fine.
Roads on cliff sides are very narrow and don't accommodate more than one cart at once if you're going in opposite directions.
I have not posted that. We have art of like the tiny road and there's like missing tiles. I haven't I've got a few heights. I'm like, I don't want to post that art. No one wants to buy a game that you can fall up a mountain in. And,
oh man, I think I remember that logic puzzle.
That's also like, I mean, that's a real place, right? Like that's one of those, like, I mean, we've fantasized it in some ways, but like the real one's even worse. Like you look at it and you're like, oh gosh, my God.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Right? Yeah.
I see people driving on it.
Yeah. Aren't those are crazy. Now imagine a fight breaks out.
Right.
And there's magic and fireballs and somebody's horse takes a long dive.
Always name your horse, everyone.
Somebody's horse named Buttercup.
Oh. Wasn't there a movie about like a Depression era horse rider who did the trick jumping off of heights with their horse?
Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Yeah, that
Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken.
Okay.
Oh,
see, Daryl is the answer to all things. It was really fun. I got to admit, Daryl, like now's the time to be a little congratulatory for you. So we did have some cred checks on Daryl on how much into the wuxia and zansha genre really is Daryl, and slayed every one of them. Like, so
there's definitely stuff I don't know.
You don't have to be perfect.
Don't test me.
Like, let's be good now.
Don't come at me, bro.
Daryl, the only thing you don't know is what you don't know.
Oh.
That's some deep stuff, Shane. Way too
zen.
Deep.
I'm very zen.
So you guys might have noticed Daryl has been on the stream a lot in the last few weeks and months. Not only did we do.
Sorry, everyone.
Well, he froze. Oh, he did. For good reason. I think Shane initially brought you on to help keep adding content to our lines and keep supporting some lines that have been fallow for a while, and that has gone so well. And you have been so prompt and productive and awesome. There's a little promotion we got to go now, so I'm gonna make Shane do it while we get the crown. We get a new name. You are the only one on screen without a headline name. So Shane, take it away, sir. What's up with Daryl?
So we're incredibly blessed, and I said this on Kickstarter recently, and I mean this. This isn't just making sure that no one else feels bad. I mean, we've got guys like Brian, have been doing this for quite a while. Brian wrote one of my favorite adventures that I've been able to play recently. crap, what was it called? The Torg adventure we just played?
Yeah. A Trifling Matter.
Yeah, Trifling Matter. Tracy ran it for us. Tracy and Brian.
Tracy was my co-author on that one.
Yeah.
It was just brilliant. Loved it. And he is, Brian is an actual English professor,
right?
And he is making, all of those efforts better for all of us. We have Don, he's just been a demon lately. I'm working through the Horror Companion edits that you fantastic people found for us, and I got to tell you, I'll get to you, Daryl. I promise.
Oh, no, don't take your time, right? There are a lot of awesome people on our team to call out. So yes,
yeah, well, I occasionally get frustrated because some of the stuff is pedantic, but the truth is, it is better for us, and I know it. And as who wants to see a ton of red edits on their work, right? Nobody does, and I'm human like anyone else, but I know that it's valuable. And then when I look at as it all comes together and is so much better than it was, that makes me happy. Not just because it makes me look better, in the final product, but because I play the game.
Yeah.
And every time I go to something we've written or I've written and it's not there, I get so mad at myself, right? It's not clear, it doesn't work well or whatever. So
mad at me if I did it.
I don't tend to get mad at others.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it's disappointing, right? Because I just want it to be a smooth, fun experience because I'm into it. I mean, if you ever play a game with me, I'm into the game. I love and live this stuff. So it makes it so much better. And Don has had to deal with, I think it was many thousand edits that came through. And, some people have criticized us for using the audience to edit all this stuff. But honestly, it just has to be that way. And you're better off for it. Gosh, I'm so diverting here, Daryl, but I swear.
No, like this is a fun thing to talk about, right? Because we had the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, Simon and I worked on MMOs, right? Like City of Heroes, City of Villains, Neverwinter stuff. And we would test them as designers constantly, right? That is part of the job. But when we would open it up to the public, we can't test every combination of builds and the way people play and styles and all this stuff. And it's the same way in an RPG. So while we may go into an encounter or a rule or like a monster, like playing a patchwork man in the Horror Companion, we may all have a very similar view on that. And then out of left field comes this guy and says, well, I want to do this. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And we get that constantly, like, we're great when I did it, but when we open it up to more eyes and more hands.
Right. Like, and it'll never be perfect for everyone, but the closer we get to that, the better off we all are. So, between Brian's edits and Don just taking on all that, and everyone edits some too. And of course, Clint is always there. Clint's been our rules guru forever. I usually tend to say, let's do something crazy and wacky, and Clint kind of brings it into the grounded mode. And somewhere in the middle, we meet, and I think what comes out is good. It's lasted 20 years now.
20 years.
So, it must not suck too bad. So. We have a great team. Simon makes the stuff looks beautiful. Jody, Chris gets it out there so you people know about it, know it exists. Christine handles all the complaints about shipping, which we will just never hear the end of.
Jess makes our awesome pawns.
Yeah. Jess makes the pawns, our artists. I mean, everybody's incredible, right? And there's so much to do. And we run a number of companies these days. We build long-term relationships. We've been doing this for quite a while. We have lots of friends. And as some of our friends have had difficulties or we've just had good opportunities together, we've put those into the Great White Games kind of umbrella organization. And I will always live and breathe Savage Worlds. And I needed some help from someone who always lives and breathes Savage Worlds with me. And that's Daryl. So, from the moment I met Daryl, he knows all of our settings. He knows he loves the same things I do. Our love for Torg, for example. Daryl has taught me some settings and IPs that I didn't know, and vice versa. And we kind of click on that level. And I still have the. So Legend of Ghost Mountain, for example, came from Kung Fu Panda, and I'm happy to discuss that again for those who haven't. But there's not a lot of people that I can hand it off to and get what I want out of it. Now that doesn't, I know how that sounds, but I'm the guy that pays the bills. So I still want to get, that thing that I wanted 15, 20 years ago, out of it. And Daryl and I are just on the same wavelength. Somebody else might do it different. They might do it much better, to be honest, than I would.
Yeah, there's different ways to do it, right? But there's a very distinct kind of Pinnacle style that Shane
has
charged
for. What I
for.
want to play, and that's what I'm trying to make happen, right? And Daryl and I are just on that wavelength. So again, somebody else may do a completely different take, and it would be better than my initial vision of it. And I think Daryl's execution of it will add so much to that as well, right? But we needed somebody who was on that wavelength for now, because that's the period that we're in with the company and the growth we've had. And Daryl was the guy. So I asked him to be creative director a few months ago, and he said no. He was kind of new to his full time because he had just been working at Ulysses on Torg, and he wanted to immerse himself a bit more in how the company actually works, the systems that we're creating, because prior to our recent growth, the system was my brain, and whatever and on the creative side, whatever Jody could make happen on the logistics side, whatever Simon could do on the production side when he rejoined us. So, pulling away from that, not single creator, but pretty close to it mentality to what we are now is, it's growing pains, right? Anybody who's been in a company that's been through that knows there's a lot to it. So I needed help. Daryl was the guy, and here we are. So we've got Brian doing editing. Don is doing all of our crowdfunding and tracking. This is the creative parts of the team. And Daryl's going to help take over here. And it's just fantastic, because what this means for you, the fan, is when we create these projects, they're not going to sit lonely for 3 years until I get back to it now. Yeah. So you're going to see those Lost Colony Reckoner books coming out in pretty quick order. You're going to see something new that Brian is overseeing, PDF adventures and Savage serials that are going to revisit these lines as we go too. So we've got a lot of stuff because the lines are alive in my mind, right? Just because we haven't published anything for Last Parsec in a few years doesn't mean it's dead to me. It's just we haven't gotten back to it yet. And that's really hard because we have so many different settings. And that's a whole other challenge in itself, right? Yeah. No other company does what we do and maintains it. And it's probably a business mistake, but it's what we want to do.
Right. That's the main challenge, right? Because when you look at it as an overall thing where you're like, ooh, we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to, like, as you rattle off the settings that you want to revisit and do new things for, you're like, all right, we don't have enough year to do this, right? Like, even if we have the people, like if we're putting it out in this pipeline, we're going to kill our customers. We're going to kill, everyone around us. All right. We just have to be very purposeful and try and get that, pushing forward and keep things alive and bring back the things that we want to bring back, but also explore those new areas where like, hey, there's something like Ghost Mountain that we haven't done this yet. There are other things that we want to do that, Shane will have an idea like, man, I really want to do this. All right, let's find the time to explore that while continuing our schedule. And I mean, the reason that I said no earlier, like, was I'm not new to doing this because I did it for Ulysses, right. But I was new to doing it for Pinnacle. And we've got this big, awesome team. And I'm new here, right? So I was like, well, let's give it some time. Let's see if I can hit some deadlines first.
And he has.
Yeah, right. If I'm going to be deadline guy, it would probably be better if I actually made one.
Daryl's also tight with Tracy Sizemore, who does a lot of writing for us, with Mike Barbeau, who most of you know from the Savage Pathfinder stuff. So he's kind of the hub of the creative team, far more than I am these days. And I, just socially, and I think that's critical for this, because you got to sometimes when we don't know, like this book needs to come next, it's, who's excited about doing something and feeling that vibe is a big deal. And that, that shows in the work, and that's good for you.
And what I keep, like the thing that I want to project, right, is we've got this Venn diagram with 3 bubbles. And one of those bubbles is what can we do? And that's part of like the production thing, and that poor Simon, who still has to run all of this, we've got to live in that bubble. part of it is, what do people want? Which is why I'm always saying, hey, tell us, right? Like, post it, ask us questions.
That's
like,
right.
The more we know that you're really looking to go back to Hell on Earth, the more like that floats up on our, right? Yeah, like the more that floats up on our list. And then the third is, what do we want to do? Like, internally, what are we excited about? And where those all cross over is where our attention is focused, right?
Yep. And Brian's been pushing us to do some of our initial settings, since it's the 20th anniversary of some of those.
Since I even started, I was
right
immediately hitting Shane with this.
And you, like we mentioned in the bill, like, if you're new, you know what's going on. I was like, well, no, if you're new, you don't know what's going on. Let's, like, we talk about 50 Fathoms. Like, right now, like, you can convert it to Suede, but it's not available for Suede. One of my big goals, because I do think it's foundational, is let's get it out, in a way. And we've got plans. Like, we can't go too deep into that, but like the Reckoners from Deadlands, 50 Fathoms, like some of these really big stories that we want. Like, we don't want to all be facing backwards, but like there will be new stuff too. But we do want to get, the classics out again so people can play them easily, right?
No, Clint, it stops at 50 Fathoms.
Inflation's real, Shane. Inflation's real, man.
Well, if you fail to stop the Sea Hags, it would be 60 Fathoms, right? Like, the water level's rising.
Oh, well, okay, yes.
So no 50 Fathoms this year, folks, but it is, I think, the most popular requested. One of the most. Maybe, there's
and it's one that we're passionate about too, right? Like
quite a few requests for a revised version of Evernight that's not a scripted version as well. Yeah. And that one takes more than just updating, right? We've got to redesign that one some. So I think it's something we'd love to get back to and do, but that takes more work.
Right. Well, I think part of our secret plan is we'll do fantasy stuff in Tarth for a while and then drop Evernight on it like a bomb.
Well, I mean, we are dropping another super fan favorite. Clint is super, super excited about this one. There's Necessary Evil coming.
Yes.
So
go ahead.
Well, speaking of Necessary Evil, we're going to add them to the stream, but we're probably going to say, well, so you guys, what's up with Necessary Evil? I mean, not even just maybe the next one, but like the next one and the next one, or like conceptualize, like where is Necessary Evil going? Where's the next?
Yeah. So actually very soon, right, is going to be Necessary Evil 3. But we're also, again, we've got this idea of bringing back these sort of legendary, cool, big plot points that preceded it, so that if you are new, you can do the whole thing. We'll do 1 and 2 as well as 3. So that we'll reissue those, new art, Suede rules. You'll be able to have all 3 of them together, all in the same format.
And those are coming soon.
Yes. Yeah, that's already in progress, right? So, 50 Fathoms we want to do, Necessary Evil we are doing right now, and that's going to be the next one up. And
I gotta tell you, I'm super excited about him because I got to play 3 from Daryl. I ran Clint's original one several times. Necessary Evil 2 I wrote, and just I love the scavenger hunt nature of that. So getting all 3 of those updated, streamlined so that they all match together now, which is something else Daryl has been doing. Super excited about it.
Yeah. And I know you're thinking about what happens after Necessary Evil.
Well, I know what Necessary Evil 4 is. I'm excited. I can't wait to write it. Hope I get to.
And this all does tie back into that. Yeah. And it does all tie back into the Doom Guard too, right? So we've got all these things happening. So the Supers space, so we've got these hubs, right? We've got the Supers hub, and SPC was last year's big thing. Necessary Evil, and we got to kind of keep that momentum. The Deadlands hub, we talked a little bit about the awesome stuff that's coming out there. We've got kind of Lost Colony on the science fiction side, and as we're moving through that, we'll get the space then to start talking about Last Parsec and where we go in the future. And there's a lot of exciting stuff coming, so I apologize to your wallets in advance. Trying to follow along.
We do want to thank you all for going on these adventures with us. I mean, we have a crowdfunding schedule that has been rapid since COVID, and it is not slowed down. And thank you, Simon, for keeping the process running. So we're still able to deliver on all these. I'm amazed. Save the cardstock issue. Save the cardstock issue. We had really brought down the COVID era, almost a year between, crowdfunding and delivery. And, we hate to not be able to give you your books, but it's got to all come in one. I mean, the books are printed. They're awesome. We've seen them. And then the cards have to be done better but we're not going to cut quality just to give you a book on a little more on time. So that's, I do appreciate, Shane and Simon and Jody's call to be like, no, let's make sure the quality is there, because we want to produce games that are playable for 20, 30, 40 years, not games that get a week or a month early to you guys. And
that's a great point, because before Simon came back to us, I did the print buying, and I don't know cards like Simon does. And some of our earlier cards, just like I think the last Parsec cards was the last ones we did like that, just didn't have that. I think it's German Core 110 or something. And they just weren't, the great kind of cards you want to shuffle. They're pretty, they do their job, but they're just not that quality. So, Simon is a stickler for that kind of stuff, and we're much better for it. Did I get the cardstock right, Simon?
No, not even close.
That's why I don't do it anymore. So what is it?
Well, the stuff that we were waiting for was Chinese Black Core, 310 grams.
There you go.
So it's worth it. It's worth it for durability and playability and all that good stuff. And like as Shane said, he's not only the Savage Worlds Club founder, he's also a player or a client. So speaking of all the upgrades, so again, congratulations on Brian for being editor. That's a big thing. And being able to hold Shane's baby, the one that feeds us all, Deadlands, is a super awesome thing. But we're not just thinking about inside the company. We're also thinking about all of the wonderful community that our aces and swag and translators do for us. And so that's why, if you guys haven't met JM yet, JM, welcome to the stream, sir. This is JM DeFogie. He's also a friend of Pinnacle Ulysses alum that we snagged and our game. And so, sir, what is the Savage Universe, and why are you the liaison, and what are you doing in that role?
Hello, everyone. If you don't know who I am, I'm JM. I will be the person to contact if you are an ACE or have questions about the licensing program, whether it's an ACE license or a media license or even a swag license. Savage Universe, we have seen the initial builds for the website. It looks beautiful and slick. We got the calendar functionality that we want. Hey, John Doom, it's like pleasure to meet you for the very first time.
It's not like we didn't play Rifts together like last Friday or anything.
Right, exactly.
All three of us.
So the goal with Savage Universe is to be a one-stop hub for the Savage community. We're going to have all of the aces. What's currently on the Pinnacle website, you're going to be able to see the aces get to their websites. We're in a showcase every month. New aces, new products, kind of rotate that so you can see what's new and up and coming. We're going to try and do that for some of the swag stuff. We're also going to have all of our licensing information right there. And the goal is this is just version 1. There's also going to be a calendar there where you can see what crowdfunding is going to be going on in the near future or is currently going on for Savage World Aces. You're also going to be able to find what live plays are happening that are using Savage Worlds, what podcasts are going on. We're going to try and have all of that in one place for the community to come and see what is going on. And that's really just version 1. Once we get that up and running smoothly, we have plans to expand the help that we have for our aces. And doing so, there just lets them bring even cooler and better produced and looking products to the Savage community.
Shane and Simon, quit passing notes in class. We see you two smirking at each other. So the OGL kerfuffle, which hopefully is settled down a little bit, did present an opportunity for us, and I think rightfully so. Some companies decided to kind of jump in and patch that ship and change their licensing. Our licensing has worked really well for us, we think, for the last 20 plus years. And we didn't, not seeing a need to revisit that, we decided to put our efforts. This was in plan before the OGL stuff happened, but we knew we had to announce it then because just folks were it was a good opportunity to announce. So we're sorry the website is not live yet, but our focus here is that there is so much creativity going on in the PEG adjacent creators, in the ACE community, in the swag community, that we want to put our efforts there. That if we're going to recommit to the new influx of interest in Savage Worlds, it's my job to yell at you guys about stuff we're producing, but we need someone else to really even putting it on our website, it just gets lost, right? The aces, and stuff. We were doing so much now. So as the big thank you to the licensees and the translators and all the people who are doing the other kind of creative work in media, we think it's got to have its own site. So
it's going to be my job to yell at you that all of the licensees have just amazing products coming out. Speaking of, we did a Savage, the Swag Awards Part 1. And we're in the process of gathering up the remaining creators, either getting interviews with them or having them send in videos. And we're going to do a part 2 here in the next week or two. I just actually did one today. It was pretty cool to talk about a solo rule set that someone had put together in a little micro setting. So looking forward to sharing that with you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's great how much that's grown. I mean, the Swag Awards have grown from I think one news post in 2018. And now we can't even fit it all into 2 award shows because there's so many folks. And we are super proud about the percentage of the folks who are taking advantage of Swag who are overseas creators. That is really awesome for us. We love the overseas folks. It is not our fault that shipping is horrible and that your countries add taxes to you that we have nothing to do about. And it's hard. And some of your countries, they steal the products before they even get to you. Speaking about you, cough, cough, Russia and some other countries. We love our customers there, but your stuff disappears into the void, and it's we should put it on a balloon if it didn't get shot down and send it to you. It might be more accurate to get there. But the Swag program really allows you folks to be able to produce for our market and your market really well. Don't have to worry about kind of all the trouble of getting print stuff delivered around the world these days. Hopefully that'll all resolve soon and be better and cheaper for you folks. Jody mentioned earlier, we don't make money on the shipping money we collect from you. We lose money on every single one. We subsidize that partially, not as much as board game companies. So that's one thing it's now that we're getting in the board game business, we can give you some of their secrets. Board game. Right? Jody's don't tell them. But board game companies have really good margins because they do less things in their boxes than we do. And so they can hide some of the cost of production
until our boxes come out.
There's so much stuff. It's so good. I can't wait for next week when Mike can just talk more about Doomguard. I'm so excited. Don, if you've noticed, Don has had the little Doomguard miniatures behind him, and they're too small to really see, but he's had them on his shelf for a year now. And it's we get to show you all those and hopefully get some painted soon and all that good stuff. But anyways, board game folks, the price of the game and their margins are a bigger multiple than most RPG publishers. And so they take some of that money and then they offset shipping more. It's kind of like the Amazon scam,
we used to,
right?
I think that's happening less and less now. And I think we've all seen good companies get bitten by that really hard recently to the effect that some of them are going out of business. So it's it's a tricky business like anyone else. Board games, we're able to obfuscate it a bit because they can set their price at whatever, $100, $200. You don't know what the price is. With an RPG, we know that a Paizo 400-page book is $60, right? A WotC book, I don't know what theirs are. Ours are 40. So it's in that range, right? It's hard to just blow it up and disguise it. It's hard to know what you're paying for the stuff inside. So, a box that you get with a Kingdom Death may be incredibly expensive because of all the unique sculpts and what it takes to produce those particular types of models and so on, while another set might be very simple to produce because their models have less underhanging bits, and there's just all kinds of stuff that goes into it. So they're able to work those costs out, and some of them make better profit that way, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we don't get to do that because books have a very fixed price. And
it hasn't changed much really in the last 20, 30 years.
Right? Yeah.
But the board games had a big revolution where everyone started paying a ton more for board games, and that just hasn't happened in RPGs.
Yeah, if anything, ours went down, right? I mean, we did a $10 rule book. A lot of people do, softbacks or starter sets or something that are cheaper. a few of the big guys, and maybe that's why they're the big guys, keep going up, right? And we're trying to hold the line, but we're going to have to raise all of our prices soon. I just got notices from Games Workshop. I'm sure a lot of you did too, that they're about to raise their prices. Warlord Hobbies is about to raise their prices. So, inflation just going up and up.
Yeah, it's scary. But
Get Ghost Mountain while you can.
I know, get it now.
We got 5 minutes, everyone.
Well done, Daryl.
Thanks for doing my job, Daryl. Take it over me too. But we do have an answer for that, folks, and that is a cool thing. I really do love working for this company because we put less of your money where our mouth is, so to speak, or whatever, on that. So is a really cool. I don't want to spoil it yet, but there is a Kickstarter coming up that we are going to do that should, let's just say, help you get more of your friends into the Savage Worlds community at a better price. We're excited about it. There's going to be lots of cool stuff with there, but we are in the last 5 minutes to go, and 933 backers, 91.68. Thank you so much. That 933 backers is really the number we look at. That is awesome. Thank you so much for that. Super awesome to see that many of you guys backing with that much enthusiasm. I almost want to play the video one more time because all of those like Christopher Nolan Brahms are really awesome, and Cheyenne did an amazing job. But yeah, we appreciate all the backers who took on this one. But that is the best way for us is Kickstarters. Get involved on the Kickstarters because we can get you Kickstarter exclusive pricing on all of the MSRP stuff, but also on shipping. So for the overseas folks, the Kickstarters really is the place to go to get the best deal we can give you on shipping, because shipping all at once, we can send a whole pallet and we don't have to deal as much with the individual stuff getting it to the overseas customers. So
and the MSRP in stores afterwards is higher.
So yeah. So any final thoughts? Daryl, I'll turn it over to you. Any final thoughts in the last couple minutes of the campaign?
Well, I mean, just that thank you everyone thanks for showing up. Thanks for coming to play. Thanks for being interested. I saw a couple of things flash like way early in the episode, and now I'm trying to think back to what they were so we could hit them. But, oh man.
I think we got most of the ones, unless there's the Ghost Mountain stuff. Also, like last few minutes back now, the miniature is super cool. Can't wait to see that. It doesn't come in the box, comes with the box set. It's what 4.5 inches. Don, I think, figured out. It's super cool. Cloth map has been opened. A bunch of the accessories you guys have come to expect. So and then just in case, obviously we're not going to get to the 100K to unlock the Metal Conviction tokens, but again,
you got 4 minutes. It's not over.
Right.
It's not over till it's over.
Right.
Someone step up, buy all of them. But those are cool enough, and I think that because it does use the little star from the Pinnacle logo, we might just find a way to make those happen. That'll be Simon's job, as if we don't pile enough on his plate already. Well,
and like we've said before, for those, it comes down to timing, right? Unlocking the goal, we do it now. Not unlocking the goal, we think about new ways to.
Well, it also won't be free in your box set.
Right. Yeah.
If we're able to do it, and we will look into it, it'll be an add-on you'll have to pay extra for now.
Clint gets a Benny for a John Belushi reference. He's my idol. Oh my God, love John Belushi. So guys, just a few minutes left, less than 3 minutes. Actually, we'll put it up. I think Kickstarter still does the little confetti thing. So let's see if we get confetti.
Heck yeah, they do.
Let me tell you where it came from again for those who missed that particular broadcast. So eons ago, we were watching. Me and some friends went and saw Kung Fu Panda, which I thought was fantastic. And I wanted to make a game that had that same kind of color and feel, not with anamorphic animals per se, but that had that same coolness that it had. I loved the magic items in Kung Fu Panda. Everything had a big long name to it that was fun to say and think about, and we did that. And I was fortunate enough to know some people even back then. Tony Lee was a friend of mine who could help steer some of the things in the right direction. And then later on, super wuxia guy Daryl comes along, and it made sense to finally get that sucker out. So that's where the original inspiration for that one came from. Everything we do came from somewhere, and someday I should write down all those because it's kind of interesting. But
right. Well, and Kung Fu Panda is like a legitimate it
Oh,
gets
yeah.
the tropes right,
Mhm.
like, and it made
Good
them
stuff.
very accessible to a new audience,
Yeah.
which is why, like, even like regular Ubisoft fans are like, oh yeah, no, like that's legit, like
Yeah.
they got
And
it
I
right, they nailed it.
Right. And I didn't want to just do animal schools of martial arts. We'll do those in the eventual martial arts companion. I wanted to do something different. And emotions is what came to mind. And what Daryl did with that is way better than what I would have come up with, I'm sure. It's cool.
We definitely iterated between the two of us for a while, as we
Right.
often do.
Well,
So
that's
it's
what I like about our settings, right? Is you want to hit the positive tropes that people want in their games to define the adventures they want to have, and also advance the envelope a little bit and do something different, unique. And I think that strong emotion thing with Ghost Mountain is really where that sweet spot is, and really adds to the. I haven't seen another game in our industry and in the property do that. So, congratulations on Shane and Daryl. And there's 10, 9, 8, 7,
6,
5, 4, 3,
2, 1.
1. Woohoo!
Oh, confetti!
Last
There it is. Nice.
I was actually afraid to count down with y'all because when we were doing songs on this, like it could get a little
That's
iffy.
what I was thinking of. I ran a weird whaling adventure for the crew, and they had to do
Shanties.
sea shanties to get their bennies. And doing it was during COVID, so doing it over, I think it was Roll20 and Discord at the time, was kind of a nightmare.
Flawless. It was flawless.
Sure.
Did you say weird whale?
Weird whaling. Yep.
It was brilliant.
Yep,
It was
just
a
like Weird
whaling.
Wars, Weird Whaling.
With all the gore and horror of whaling and
Oh my!
That makes way more sense than what I heard. So,
okay.
Well, whatever you heard, let me know. Is that sounds like it might be a good game too.
we all play Banshees, weird whaling, and then
That'd work.
yeah,
We had a CD called Weird Whalens for Deadlands in the beginning. Yeah. Our first music CD. Done by Enoch Hain, who is the son of the original guy who played The Equalizer.
oh,
Yeah. He came to our office and talked to us, told us that was his dad, and he did music. That was
Oh,
his
that's
stage
awesome.
name, Enoch Hain. Or no, I think that was his stage name. Maybe that's Goff's. That may be confusing it, but anyway, he did the music, and that was his dad. And it was good.
Awesome. Well, guys and gals and everyone else out there, it has been an awesome campaign. We are so glad that you have embraced Legend of Ghost Mountain. I'm
And for
super
those-
thrilled that it is bigger and better than our initial concept for it. And
Yes.
the reason Daryl got the job is he's been awesome on deadlines. If Maw of Oblivion is any indication, that was ready very quickly after we finished that campaign, which is great.
And talking about deadlines, right? So we need to wait for Kickstarter to process some information for us. But like, I got the file ready, y'all. As soon as that happens, probably in a week or two, probably two. Once we've got your names, once we're allowed to, we'll get you some files so you can start playing. And I can't wait to get your hands on it and get to start tearing it up. Yeah.
I must note because I messed up. Michael Urich did Weird Whalens. Enoch Hain is John Goff's huckster character from.
Okay.
Corrected. See, look at this real-time news correction. Not like
That's right.
the newspapers have to wait a week and then they bury it. We put it up front. Accuracy is important. Yeah. So, folks, I think that the overall message is that the company is going strong. There's a whole lot coming down of new projects for you guys. Deadlands is bigger and better than ever. It's almost like we have to find room in the other stuff we're doing to squeeze in a Deadlands Kickstarter. Brian is shepherding that ship amazingly. The Abominable Northwest. We are super excited for you guys to be. That's our next one. We love that you guys actually finally get your hands on the Great Plains to there's like
Hell in the High Plains.
Hell on the High Plains, because there's a Horror at Headstone Hill, Hell on the High Plains, and Terror on the Dark Frontier, which is nasty stuff at nasty place. They all mix
Right.
up in red.
Terror on the Dark Frontiers, Rifts. Awesome.
Right.
That's right.
Getting a file out soon.
But our next one could be nasty stuff at nasty place. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll put my submission in for Brian. Hopefully he won't reject it too hard. The big band hammer. But yeah, if you missed it, oh no. See, look at this. We do every time. Don't worry, Mac. You can still get in on the pre-order when we do. So what we're using now off our home site, hiking.com, calling it Game Changer. We use it for crowdfunding, but we also use it for pre-orders and the backer, pledge manager.
Exactly, pledge manager. Instead of backer kit or something like that, it'll be on Game Changer.
Oh, good.
If you missed it, you can.
Mac backed, but he missed the stream. That's fine. We were just talking about stuff. You're worried. You did the right thing. Back the game. Talkie later. Good.
You can catch it on YouTube soon.
Right?
I missed the stream, but you backed the project. Thanks. Thanks, Mac.
Appreciate that. We appreciate every one of you. As Shane, it's funny. Shane often comments when someone's like, "Hey, I bought your book today." He's like, "Yeah, you paid for lunch." Lunch is a little more expensive now, but it does put food on all of our table. And for that, we are eternally grateful. We do love our community. I don't think it's any secret you guys are the best gaming community in the industry. Yeah. We are super thankful that we don't get the problems and issues that other people seem to get. You guys are just very cordial and nice and super welcoming. I'd like to think that's because of the awesome representation that the other folks you see on screen set the last 25 plus years in Savage Worlds, 20 years in Savage Worlds, 25 years for Deadlands, and even longer for some of these folks in their industry. But thanks, Shane, for being our leader. It's Captain, my captain, all that good stuff. I think you made a great game, a great system, and attracted the right people to do it. So.
Well, and Roger's comment that just flashed by where he's like, oh man, like there's so much, like I can't buy it all. That's something that we are deeply aware of. Like that's something we struggle with, right? Because we do want to get stuff out to people, but we also don't want to kill y'all. So we're finding that tightrope line to walk between getting you as much as we can without just hurting you.
Yeah, we're also trying to figure out, who just buys Deadland stuff, who just buys occasional releases like, now and then a holler, who buys just Pathfinder, just Rifts. So that's something we don't know just yet. We tend to see the fans that we run into at cons and talk to online and so forth are into a lot of the settings that we make, just like we all are. So that is something we're paying attention to, but we also want to get this stuff out that's been sitting, Kung Fu Panda came out a long time ago, guys. There's been 3 movies and a TV series since it came out. So
I think like 2, maybe 3 TV series actually.
Oh my goodness,
it's a lot.
We want to clear the decks.
Well, so speaking of clearing the deck, another great Kickstarter. We appreciate all of you for backing so much. And then there's a whole lot arriving for the last year of Kickstarters, and Game Changers are coming in rapid succession here. When you do get those, post them on social media, guys. You are our best advocates. As much as I love to tell you all what's happening, your voices speak much louder, and are they reach places we can't with your friend groups and all that stuff. So when your products do arrive, and if you do like them, we know you do, because Simon does a really good job on making the products look great, and everybody else on screen makes a good job holding it. So yeah, let people know, post online. But we appreciate this has been an awesome Kickstarter, and even Clint agrees. Thank everybody. So yeah, we'll get back to work. We'll get Simon back on making sure the stuff comes in on time and looks good, and she can get back to finishing up Abominable Northwest. Although I think, Brian, I think the first draft is done, right? Wasn't that this week?
It's done. It's done.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we're just working on the campaign set that goes with it.
Oh, so good stuff. So there's more coming. We will announce our next Kickstarter, next Game Changer soon, folks. But we'll hopefully give you guys a few days of rest and relaxation, and then we'll a second Kickstarter gets us those names. We will begin the process of giving you guys your alpha playtest to run through, because it looks great. There's a lot more art that we need to kind of get in there, and some more orders, but like the text is all there. It reads really great, and the review videos are starting to pop up. So if you read some of the previous updates, there's some reviews. You can go see some of the pages already. But it's great. We appreciate you guys, and enjoy the rest of the weekend, and happy gaming. Hopefully roll some dice this weekend, guys. Gals, that's what we want you to do. We want you to actually get out there and play some Savage Worlds or whatever other great game you're playing. But roll some dice, meet up with some friends, and we will see you for sure next Friday for the big Doomguard board game reveal with Mike Barbeau. And we might have some other streams before that, but definitely same Savage time, same Savage place next week. Appreciate y'all. Oh, and one more time, I'm gonna play the Kickstarter video because it's way too cool, not because it's just cool. So, cheers, folks. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.